Welcome to Aksyon TV Profiles, kung saan guest ang bida, kaya walang host. Bago bumunot ng mga tanong sa ating fishbowls, humarap sa camera at magpakilala. Hi everyone, I'm Attorney Maria Rosel Valdecantos Carolino. They call me Cindy, so I'm better known as Attorney Cindy. I hail from Bulacan. And it's where I spent my elementary and high school days. And when I entered college, ay tumungo na ako ng Maynila, kung saan ko nakilala ang aking kabiyak, Attorney Tony Carolino, who hails from Laguna. So it cuts the story short, kaya ako ngayon ay taga Laguna. So I have 3 kids, ages 20, 17, and 14. And I'm currently the mayor of Santa Maria, Laguna. I am on my 2nd term as mayor, but technically 3rd because I was mayor in 2013 to 2016. Then I stopped, and then I returned in 2019. I'm turning 50 this year, and I'm just happy to be here at makadaupang palad kayo through this program. Okay, so siguro, enough introduction na yon. And let's start. Bunot na tayo sa mga fish balls na ito. Start with the red. Ano ang iyong comfort food? I love hot meals. So I'm a lover of lugaw. Up to now, I still love lugaw. Childhood comfort food ko ang lugaw. Siyempre, nag-level up tayo ng konti. Dahil ngayon gusto ko na rin ng ramen. Of course, from Japan. Yan, love natin ang everything hot and everything na medyo sour. So I really love sinigang, sinampalukan. So really all Filipino food ang love ni Mayor Cindy. Okay? Hindi ako gano'ng mahilig sa sweets. Yan. So I really love sour foods. Okay. Next. Ano ang masasabi mo tungkol sa cyberbullying, disinformation, at fake news? At paano kaya maiiwasan ang mga ito? Social media has its own pros and cons. Pros dahil our communication suddenly become so much easier. Sabi nga real time, no? Anywhere you are in the world, because of social media and the internet, parang wala nang barrier. Kaya nga lang, ang dami rin namang disadvantages. And one of them is, of course, misinformation, bullying. And isa talaga ito sa mga bagay na dapat siguro ma-address ng ating national government. Ang daming bata, actually not just bata, no? Sa tingin ko, even adults, marami sa mga personalities are always victims of cyberbullying. And I've heard of a lot of incidents kung saan mismong mga private individuals, mga bata nag-aaral, they become victims of cyberbullying. Ang daming buhay na nasisira. Dahil let's face the fact na madalas sinasabi natin, ang ating buhay should be focused not just on ourselves, but also naturalmente yata ng tao yun eh. Gusto rin natin ma-please yung ating kapwa, the people around us. And with our desire to do that, pagka tayo ay nabubuli sa social media, all of a sudden, we become sad. We become depressed. And yung pinaka masakit doon, pag the depression goes a little bit further pa, na minsan nagiging cause ito no, ng suicide and all that. And simply because of cyberbullying. So it really needs to stop. I hope that our government, of course we have laws for this one. Kaya lang, minsan, it's really the implementation that's the problem. Ang mga batas naman talaga hindi sasapat. Laging sasabihin natin, kulang at kulang. But let's go down to the basic. It's really more of the implementation. Na siguro, yun talaga ang isa sa dapat tutukan ng ating national government. Matutukan na the basic laws is implemented, and I'm sure, pag kami nasasampulan, sabi nga, pag mag-sample-sample tayo, it will serve as a lesson. at the end, it's really just respect. Respect for others, respect for the people around us. Hindi natin kailangan pumuri at all times. Pero kung meron tayong nakikitang hindi maganda, there's always a proper manner, proper way kung paano natin ito ma-address, kung paano natin ito maipapahayag at madadala sa proper na pamamaraan. No? So, I think that's really the thing that, at saka siguro, sa atin naman, as individuals, we should also know the boundaries of what to share. Kasi hindi naman tayo mabubuli kung hindi rin tayo yung mag-open up ng ating mga sarili. So if you feel that you do not have the guts to be recipients of not so beautiful reactions, then let's also limit what we will share, especially in the social media. So that's my take on cyberbullying. Okay? So sa green naman tayo, my favorite color. Okay. Ano ang pinakamalaking challenge sa buhay mo na nalampasan mo? Well, probably most of you will think that my greatest challenge is about politics. Well, it's not. When I was 37 years old, that was around close to 13 years ago now, I had the biggest struggle of my life. And that was a health problem. I'm actually a cancer survivor. I had a leukemia in 2010. Pero ang dami palang klase ng leukemia. There's, I think, around 6 to 8 variants of leukemia. And there are leukemia that would have to be just dealt with, oral medicines, maintenance medicines, kung tawagin, But what I had was like the dying one. I know most of you know Francis Magalona. And the type that Francis Magalona had is the type that I had. So, my life is really a miracle. When I was diagnosed, I was told by my doctors that, because I asked, I was in my hospital bed, and when they came out with the prognosis, I asked my doctors, I said, Doc, what if I don't do anything? I mean, I just let it be, I don't take any other procedure or whatever. And then he told me, you're lucky if you get 3 months, or probably at the most you get 6 months. So that's how bad my type of leukemia was. Of course, I wanted to live. I wanted to live because during that time, my youngest was hardly a year old. So he's hardly walking. I know that for most of us, we'd really wanted to fight it out. So I went through the works. I went for chemotherapy, then I went for radiation, and eventually, when I was already on remission, the doctor talked to me about what they called a stem cell transplant. So it's technically a bone marrow transplant, and I needed to have a donor. So usually it's the sibling who's a donor. And so I had 4 siblings who are here in the Philippines with me, and I had them all tested because we needed during that time a complete match. And luckily, I had one sibling who was a total match. So that was my eldest brother, because we are 6 in the family, I'm the youngest one. And yung nag-match sa akin was the second in the family. So, siya yung medyo malayo pa sa akin. So, thankfully, we had a match. So, I went through that stem cell transplant. And I was so lucky. So, I really call my life a blessing. It's really a blessing. So, when I entered politics, my doctor was like really, I was asking permission from my doctor. And he was like, Doc, tatakbo po akong mayor. So that was in 2013. And he was like, no, Cindy, no. So, I said, eh then no po, Doc. Eh then no po. Okay, so I went home. And then I think a month or 2 after, I was like, Doc, nag-file na po ako ng candidacy ko. And he was like, tigas talaga ng ulo mo. I was like, Doc, you were the one who told me I will be lucky if I get 3 to 6 months. But it's been like close to 3 years now. And I'm still alive. And I told him, I wanted to live my life na talagang it will be a life of purpose. If God allowed me to live, it must be for a reason. I think that reason is He wants me to serve. So I told him that I'm really gonna go for it. And thankfully, during my first candidacy, I have an opponent, and I won. And it was like my first try at politics, and I didn't go for the konsehal or the vice mayor. I went outright for the mayoralty post, and thankfully I won, and I enjoyed it in the sense that I think it was a rare, I mean, it's not an opportunity that can be given for everyone. There are a lot of people who wants to go to politics, and I don't think that everyone is lucky enough to be, to be voted at once. So I was lucky. So I think that's really my biggest struggle. So it was really the health issue that was my biggest struggle in my whole life. So everything else after that was already what? I call everything a bonus. Even the problems that I encounter with politics, I call them a bonus. I call them as, something that adds up color to my already colorful life. I really think most of the time it's really attitude that will make our life meaningful and colorful. It's really attitude. So, which I think I got really from having been sick, and having gone through it. So it really taught me a lot. So it taught me to appreciate life so much more. That any problem, anything difficult that comes into our life would have to be dealt with. Just to have to deal with it, and then God will provide for everything. Okay? So, let's go again for the red. Flowers or chocolate? Flowers. I told you a while ago, I don't have a sweet tooth, so I always go for flowers. Okay. Kamusta ang lagay ng ekonomiya ng bayan ng Santa Maria matapos ang kasagsagan ng pandemic? Okay, serious question. I'd say Santa Maria has been blessed that even though during the pandemic, of course it was really difficult, no? It was something that not any one of us had prepared for. Not even the first-class municipalities, not even the first world countries had prepared for it. So it was really a struggle. But then, being the always positive person that I am, I always look at the bright side of everything. One, we were, I think, in the whole of Laguna, we were, I think, close to third to the last to had a first case of COVID. So somehow, it took us a while. We were able to protect our community for quite a while before it had its first case of COVID. Second, during the pandemic, I know that most of the economy of the municipalities, even the cities, and of course even the province, became difficult. But would you believe that during the pandemic, it became a chance for Santa Maria to gain more people, to gain more new kababayans? Why? The people from Metro Manila all of a sudden realized that they needed a little space under the sun in the province. And Santa Maria was very close to Metro Manila. There were a lot of new kababayans that we had during the pandemic. A lot of people went there to buy land, to buy properties, and it became an opportunity for us. We had more people coming in, and more establishments were put up during the pandemic. A lot of new resorts were opened up, and then a lot of camping sites, glamping sites were opened during the pandemic. Why? Because all of a sudden, really, people were coming into the province, and they were like really enjoying the beautiful view, the beautiful climate, and of course, we weren't as clogged as Metro Manila is. Somehow, I could say that after the pandemic, we were better as a community. We were better as a municipality. We were better. We were better off after the pandemic. Okay. So let's go to green again. What do you love and hate most in politics and public service? There's a lot to love about public service, but equally a lot to hate about it. Well, I love the fact that I have become an instrument of service for our kababayans and probably to others as well. I love the fact that children saw me as a mother, as a friend. And I love the fact that I take part in decision making for our community. Of course, we can always help. There's really no issue to the reality that even as private individuals, we can really always help. But I think the fact that when you are in government, you technically have a say in most things. And the thing that I always share is that I think it's really very important for politicians to have a vision, that you have this mindset to where you wanted to bring your people, your community. And so I think that's really what I love about politics. So what I hate about it, it's a realization that no matter what you do, no matter how try your best, you really cannot do everything. And I think that's the part that I really hate, because we cannot always please everyone. There are times really that you give your best, as in everything, your best in everything. But there will always still be people that won't be satisfied. But I've learned somehow to, accept that fact. And with acceptance, of course, things become more easy, more, shall I say, easier to deal with. So I think that's the thing that I really hate. So let's go to the red again. Anong bagong hobby ang gusto mong matutunan? Well, really, the hobbies is something that politics deprived me of. Because I remember, even before we entered politics, we really used to be so outgoing, especially myself. I'm sort of sporty. So when I was in school before, I used really to play volleyball, and then I used to play badminton, and then I remember that before we entered politics, I was enjoying firing. So I really enjoyed that hobby, so firing. So I wanted to go back to that really. So I think that's really one thing that I wanted to go back. And what else? It's really not a hobby that I wanted to, at least I wanted to try in my lifetime, to jump in a plane, skydiving. I hope I can still do that in my lifetime. Okay. Paano mo ini-empower ang mga kababaihang tulad mo? This is really one of my advocacy, to empower women. In the whole of Laguna now, there's really just 2 female mayors. I'm the only one from the municipalities, and there's one, my friend, Mayor Arlene, from the cities. No? As a woman, every time that I have the opportunity or chance to be with women's group, I always try to convince them. I always try to share at least my life story, my views, my take on womanhood. It's always very typical that we always see women being portrayed as a plain housewife. I salute plain housewife women, because being a housewife is really no mean task. It's such a difficult task. But if we can be housewives but still pursue our careers, I think that would really be more empowering. We all know how difficult life is now. And gone are the days when we really just have to rely on the husband to be providing for the family. And one of the things also that I always put upon myself, and I always wanted to always share also to other women, is that there are a lot of times when we like to do stuff. There are a lot of times when we wanted to enjoy some things, but we can't. Why? Because we're sort of ashamed to ask from our husbands. We're sort of shy to be spending the family budget for ourselves, for our own enjoyment. But if we can empower ourselves, be productive on our own, I think we have all the right. Because one of the things that I always also share is that we need to empower, we need to make ourselves happy because we are the light of the family. And how can we become a light of the family when we ourselves cannot shed that light? Why? We are sad. We feel there's something lacking in ourselves. We feel that we're not contributing enough to the economy of the family, to the economy of society. But if we can do that, we can have that joy in ourselves, that happiness in ourselves. It's something that we can also share and give. As they say, you cannot give something that you do not have. To me, it's really very important that women find that joy in themselves to be able to give it to the family, to the children, to the husbands, to the friends, to society. And if we have women who are more empowered, I think society will become a better one because we're not just relying on the male sector to be providing, but also it will become a good tandem of the male and female society to make it a participatory act for not just for the family, but even for ourselves also. Okay, so I really always encourage women to do their best, no? It doesn't always have to become something that is so big. Even little things can always contribute to themselves and to the family. Okay. So let's have this last green. Kung hindi ka nagpolitika at naging mayor, ano kaya ang pinagkakaabalahan mo? If ever I did not enter politics, I would most likely be pursuing my career as a lawyer. Most likely, I'll be spending more time at home because I'm really a homebody. I enjoy it being in the house. I can stay in the house a week, a month with no complaints. Although I really enjoy going out too, but it's really not a big issue to me. I only really go out to get the food that I want. But all other things, I'm really content at home. If I were not in politics, so I would probably doing my stuff as a lawyer and then focusing more on the family. Because somehow, sabi nga nila, when you do this thing, dapat wala kang regret. But you cannot also discount the fact that somehow there's a little regret. Because now my kids are so big, it's true what they say, hindi na pwedeng ibalik, hindi na maibabalik when time lost cannot ever be returned na. Totoo po pala yun, There are times that I wish that I was able to spend more time really with the children. But hindi naman talaga kami yung walang time. But syempre talagang minsan maiisip mo rin, sana more time na spend ko with them. Kasi nga ngayon ang lalaki na nila. Both literally and figuratively, malalaki na sila. Yung dati na pag lumabas kayo ng bahay, automatic nakakapit sa kamay mo yung anak mo. Parang nagsisiguro doon sila na talagang hindi ka mawawala. Pero ngayon, pagkakasama mo sila, ibang-iba na. Yun ang medyo somehow, medyo konting regret. I'm so thankful still because our children, they're all boys. Pero mababait silang bata, And even up to now, pag pinagsabihan sila, talagang nakatahimik lang sila. At lagi pa rin na nagtatanong. Sila yung every time that they would do something, they would ask first, Magpapaalam pa muna talaga sila at hindi yung parang they feel na talagang independent sila, na ginagawa na nila, Even up to this time, talagang Pagka meron silang gustong gawin, papaalam muna. And if we don't permit them, sisibangot lang sila ng konti. Pero talagang susunod pa rin naman sila na pagka hindi mo sila pinayagan, hindi sila aalis. No? And that's what I'm thankful for, na mababait silang bata. Because I think all parents would really just want that. No? Sinasabi ko nga every time na may nakakaharap ako ng mga kabataan, I always tell them, parents are different. Iba-iba ang katatayuan sa buhay ng mga bawat magulang. Merong tama-tama lang, meron talagang medyo dumadaan sa medyo mahirap, meron naman na talagang sobrang bastante, mayaman, ika nga ano. But that having been said, merong isang common denominator lahat ng klase ng magulang na yan. And that is they want the best for their children. Walang magulang na maghahangad ng hindi maganda para sa kanilang magulang. All the parents, kahit anong klase pa yan, iisa ang gusto niyan para sa kanilang mga anak. And that is just the best for their children. Okay, so tapos na tayo sa mga katanungan mula sa ating fishbowl. So, okay, may karagdagan pa. For this segment, itihaya at tingnan isa-isa ang mga illustration board. Okay, so these are the illustration board. Bago tingnan ang susunod na illustration board, ipakita muna ito sa camera at simulan ang iyong maikling reaksyon o comment sa pagsasabi ng ang akin lang. Okay, so let's start. Okay. BTS. Ang akin lang, sana sina Sarah Geronimo na lang. At saka Regine Velasquez ang naririto. Suddenly shows my age. No? Hindi ko na kasi sila ganong nasubaybayan. Hindi rin ako follower ng K-pop. Kaya wala akong ganong masasabi sa kanila. Alam ko lang, kilala sila ng mga anak ko, pero hindi na sila naipakilala sa akin ng mga anak ko. So, ang akin lang, sana iba na lang ang nasa picture. Okay? Okay. Jeepneys. Ang akin lang, dapat hindi talaga ganong palitan ito eh. Because to me, jeepneys are trademark of the Philippines. Talagang ito yung isa sa simbolo ng bansang Pilipinas, ang jeepney. Ito yung isa sa mga bagay na parang dito lang sa ating bansa nakikita. Kaya sana, kung palitan man nila, sana wag ilayo sa itsura, no? Kasi gustong-gusto ko pa rin naman talaga. And of course, nung ako'y bata, parang dito nga sa jeep nga yata ako unang nag-aral mag-drive. Kasi may jeepney kami nung bata ako. At ito yung isa sa mga pinag-practicean ko nung ako ay nag-aaral pa lang na mag-drive. Ayan, jeepneys. Ayan. Ang akin lang, ito ang love of my life, no? Yan, of course, we met in law school. We're both lawyers. Siyempre, nung makita niya ako, hindi niya na ako pinakawalan, ano? Although kiniklaim niya, baliktad daw. Kayo na ang magsabi kung ano ang mas totoo sa version naming dalawa. Of course, so it was really my husband, Attorney Tony Carolino, who first entered politics. No? And it was because of him. Sabi nga, nahawaan na lang niya ako sa pagmamahal sa politics. No? And he's really the person behind me. But what I love most about my husband is that he just lets me be. Hindi siya yung sabihin mo na nagdidikta. He only gives his opinion when I ask. Kung hindi ako nagtatanong, talagang quiet siya. And I just wanted to think na pinaniniwalaan naman niya, no, ang aking decisions. Kaya talagang he lets me be. Yan, the love of my life. Yan. Okay, last. Ayan na. This is our logo for our Marilag Festival. Santa Maria will be having its 10th Marilag Festival. Of course, Marilag is a concoction of the word Maria, of course, for Santa Maria, and lag is for Laguna. So, Marilag, which in the Tagalog or in the Filipino dialect, Marilag means beautiful. So, by Marilag Festival, we are celebrating everything beautiful about Santa Maria. Santa Maria happens to be an agricultural community. We call ourselves the Rice Granary of Laguna dahil kami ang may pinakamalaking rice harvest in the entire province of Laguna. It is celebrated every first week or second week of April dahil during that time, ito yung harvest season ng palay sa Laguna, sa Santa Maria. Kaya doon namin itinatime yung aming festival. And aside of course from palay, Santa Maria is host to many high-value crops. Marami po sa aming rambutan, daranghita, lansones, no? And many more high-value crops. So, yan po ang kinakabuhay ng mga tao sa Santa Maria. Number 1 niya is palay, pagpapalay, and then, of course, high-value crops yung mga prutas kasi hindi naman to year-round. So, pagka wala, out of season, ang mga prutas, ay marami din kaming tanim na mga gulay. At iyan ang kinakabuhay ng mga kababayan namin sa Santa Maria. We are starting to focus also, aside from palay, we're starting to focus on coffee. Marami kaming tanim ng coffee and according to the Department of Agriculture, in the next 2 or 3 years, Santa Maria will be the biggest producer of coffee in the entire Calabar zone. So, ganun po kadami ang aming kape. And last year lang ay naipakilala na sa international market ang kape ng Santa Maria. No? There was one kababayan who joined an international barista competition in South Korea. And he won second place using Santa Maria coffee. No? So we're very proud. Meron din kami isang kooperatiba, J. Santiago Cooperative, at nakafocus sila sa coffee. No? So kung magagawi po kayo sa amin, sa Santa Maria, you should really try our coffee. No? Isa po yan sa aming pinagmamalaki ngayon sa Santa Maria. So we will be having our Marilag Festival this coming April 12 to 15. It will be a 4-day affair. At kung meron po kayong time, come visit us and be one with us in the celebration of everything beautiful sa bayan po ng Santa Maria. Okay, so tapos na tayo sa ating board questions. Meron pa ba? Ayan, meron pa. Maraming salamat po for being our guest here at Aksyon TV Profiles. Sa loob ng 10 segundo, magbigay ng inyong closing message sa ating mga viewer. Timer starts now. Maraming salamat po, lalo tigit sa Aksyon TV Profiles. It's really an honor to be your guest. At sana po maraming marating ang munting inspirasyon na dala ng aming panayam ngayon, lalo tigit sa mga kababaihan dito po sa ating bansa. To all of you, let us empower women. Hindi ka babae lang. Ikaw ay isang babae, may magagawa ka. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.